Hello and welcome to the Cube Talk Show. My name is Joe Barbieri. I am your host for the evening. This is a show about money and, as I call it, the ever-changing face of money. Today we're going to look at money in terms of financial independence and multi-level marketing. And we have in our studio with us Danish Ahmed, social entrepreneur. And Danish, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome. And so give me a little background about what you do and how you do it.
Oh, that's great. Well, I've always been an entrepreneur ever since I was 14 years old. I got exposed to the personal development industry, and the personal development industry, a part of that is about financial intelligence and financial awareness. And inside that financial intelligence was to give me this desire and ambition to become financially free. Having a disability, I always knew I was at a disadvantage in terms of, I need more money to be equivalently functional in society than most other people. I have to pay for, aids and need special transportation and can't drive. So I always knew that I would be at a disadvantage, and becoming financially free would help me in that aspect. It would give me the abundance of finances I need to compensate for my adversity. And the personal development industry also gave me exposure to a whole bunch of different opportunities. So at a very young age, at the age of 18, I got introduced to my first network marketing business, which was Amway Corporation. And that totally changed my life because it gave me access to a community of people that I would otherwise never have access to, and it gave me access to personal development at wholesale. See, before that, I was traveling around the world because I understood the importance of personal development. It changed my life. But I was spending thousands of dollars. I fundraised tens of thousands of dollars on my own in high school because I was committed to it. It costs money to travel to different countries and to pay for these expensive lectures that are otherwise only available to the elite or to Fortune 500 companies. And I did all that, but what Amway gave me was wholesale access. So now people in my own community, people who I had local access to, I could go to their events, I could listen to them speak, and rather than paying $3,000 for a day, I could get it at $20. And that to me opened the doorway to this wealth of knowledge and desire to become a financially free entrepreneur. What's fascinating about the journey is that never is so quite simple. And so I never ended up making a lot of money in Amway. I hardly made any. but that seed in me gave me the awareness to know that, just because something doesn't work doesn't mean it's bad or that it's horrible. It just means the timing wasn't right for me, or there's something beyond my consciousness that didn't allow it to work. But that doesn't mean it can't work, nor does it mean that I should give up. And so I decided to look for other companies, other network marketing companies that would be able to maybe provide the compensation that I was looking for in financial means. Because like I said, what Amway gave me was compensation in so many other ways. I mean, even indirectly financially, because as I was working at my job, I raised my value. I fostered relationships based on the knowledge that I was getting on personality types and how to relate with people. And that raised my income and raised my salary and made me more productive, more efficient, more effective. But nevertheless, I wanted to be, living in opulence. And so how do you get to that level? And so I tried all sorts of different companies. I tried Mel, Luca, I tried New Skin, and, companies that probably people have never heard of. And none of them really worked. Now, I sat back and I said, well, what about all these companies makes it not work? So I tried coming up with the perfect model. I'm sure lots of other people have tried this. And I said, what's been my problem in all these companies? And so some of the problems have been, well, the products are more expensive, and people rather go to Walmart, and even though the products aren't as good for the environment, they'd rather just pay less and do that. The problem is they don't want to wait for shipping. The problem is they don't like the color. They like to touch and feel their stuff before they order it. So I said, what could we do so that all those problems could be eliminated? And I thought, simple. Well, you get rid of the products. And you still keep the social network and the financial infrastructure. Well, what happens if you do that is you actually end up with an illegal pyramid. That's what an illegal pyramid is no product flow but money flow, and they're illegal. So that wasn't going to work. But I thought to myself, well, what could you do in terms of having a product but not having a product? And I finally came up with an answer, and that is, well, how about if the product is a charitable donation? And that's when this whole vision of having a force of people being philanthropists out there raising money for charities and being social entrepreneurs, which is a definition, which is helping the society, making a difference by raising money for noble and charitable causes. I thought it was the bomb. And actually through my manifestation, through some of my connections, I ended up finding an organization called Humanity Unites Brilliance, which did just that. And for a couple of years, I finally made it work. I finally not only had a vision of creating a network marketing company that had a charity attached to it as its product, but I ended up making money in it. And it sustained me for a couple of years being involved in that community, and I totally loved it. But again, a story is never that simple. And so that company decided to shift course, and it actually got acquired by another network marketing company called World Ventures, which is all about travel, luxury travel, and now they wanted to get into this volunteerism and charitable travel, which is so awesome. It shows you the shift in consciousness that's happening. And so that's awesome for Hub, but it left me in a place of, well, what do I do now? And what had happened is 5 years ago, I was involved in another network marketing company called ACN. And I love that company because they, unlike other network marketing companies, had a service, not a product. So rather than trying to convince people to reorder a certain amount of product every single month, this was, well, let's just get people to change their telephone service or their television or their home security or their gas and electricity. And that way, we're not changing their habits so much because they don't have to become conscious of that every single month. Every single month when they pay their bill, most people don't even look at their bills. As long as they're getting the service, they're happy. And I thought that was a great model, so I got involved in that 5 years ago, but didn't make very much money. But I was smart enough, and this is where most people make the mistake. I was smart enough not to quit. One, because I'm like, I'd rather help a friend make money than a corporate faceless monopoly. So that's one thing. So I just want to stay in the business, even though I'm not making money. And two, always have that vision of, that is possible. And it came back to reward me because 5 years later, what happened is I had introduced the business to a couple of people who became superstars. These are the stories that you hear about in terms of glamour and making it to the top of financial freedom. And my organization does about $6 million a year in that lake. So that put me in a very good position and made me realize that the network marketing story is real. Although, stories again are never so simple, and I decided to put my focus on actually right now another company which is called That Free Thing. And That Free Thing, I like it because it's all about showing people how to get stuff for free. Right now, a lot of people, see, even with lots of other companies, even if it's a great idea and people love the product, it usually costs $200, $300, $400, $500, if not $1,000 or $2,000 just to start. And no matter how great an idea is, no matter how passionate people feel about it, no matter how much motivation they have, in today's economy, they don't have $500. And there's nothing we can do to force them to have that, except to teach them how to get stuff for free so that they can have more capital. And so that's what this company does. And in fact, so the entry point is free because we just show people how to get stuff for free. But even when you upgrade and start making money, the entry point is $25. So what happens for a lot of people is, for the first time, here's an opportunity that they can actually afford to get in. In fact, it's only $9.95 a month. So for the entire year, if they do nothing, they don't even claim freebies, they don't learn how to get freebies, and they just slack off all year, they've lost $135. So much better than so many other companies that causes a lot of people to get in. And as it's causing a lot of people to get in, is in a forced matrix structure, it's causing a lot of people to make a little bit of money. And unlike most other network marketing companies, it's very quick to break even because you only need $9 a month to break even. And if we can show people how to make $9 a month quickly, now all of a sudden they're in a position where they have more income than expense, and now it becomes a no-brainer to stay in. I mean, why would you quit when your income is bigger than your expenses, your residual income? And so I think we found a compensation plan whose time has come. Because a lot of these things weren't possible, 10 or 15 years ago, but because of technology, because of a global economy, and because of the necessity, because necessity is the mother of invention, I think we've come up with a concept and now the masses are ready for.
So I think you've touched on a bunch of things, but I guess if somebody wants to get into multi-level marketing, what's the benefit to them?
Well, there's a lot of benefits. I think the first benefit is to understand that we're moving away from a job economy into back into an entrepreneurial economy. I mean, society is very cyclical. So we started off as entrepreneurs, and this industrial revolution created this employee mentality. And now that's not working anymore. I mean, people don't have jobs, the same jobs for 30, 40 years and get a nice retirement. That doesn't happen. And so people need to become entrepreneurs. And most entrepreneurial scenarios cost a lot of capital, or you need a lot of experience, or they're just very risky. And so it's not in everybody to have the risk tolerance to be an entrepreneur, especially if they have an employee mentality, and nor do they have the capital or the knowledge to start or the confidence. And that's why network marketing is so great, because network marketing provides this very inexpensive way to create a multinational, multi-million-dollar business through a turnkey operation. It's like having access to a McDonald's of someone whose system already works and is proven, and you're going to buy the rights to use that system so you can become financially free, except unlike a McDonald's, it doesn't cost $3 million to get started. It usually costs, like I said, a couple $100 to $1,000, or in the case of that free thing, it costs $25.
So this is like a transition between working for somebody and being a classical entrepreneur or a traditional entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
This can get you from one to the other. Is that
Absolutely,
what you'd
because
say?
inside of that box or that franchise that you get, what you get is a lot of training, development, personal development, entrepreneurial understanding, financial intelligence, whether it's in the form of DVDs or online audio or real live events that you can attend. It's about teaching you what you need to know to become successful, and understand that the education system didn't do that. In fact, it did the opposite. It taught people how to become effective employees. And that's why it's so difficult to have people realize now that even though their job formula is not working, they cling on to it in denial, hoping and praying that somehow it's going to work, because they haven't ever been exposed to another mentality, which is really about being responsible for your own life. I mean, that's where personal development starts. And financial intelligence is really the same thing. Most people have a block by taking responsibility out, saying, I don't want to understand that because I can't understand that. I wasn't meant to understand that. I'm not part of that class. And making all these excuses that keep them away from the knowledge as opposed to embracing the knowledge.
Yeah, this is very true. And I'm assuming in the last, say, 5 years, there's been a lot more interest in multi-level marketing. And I'm basing this on the news headlines that people have been laid off and companies are downsizing, outsourcing, all that sort of idea. So a lot of people are re-examining what they're going to do to make money, and a lot of them are starting to do their own thing. Is that, have you noticed?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say
that?
so on the one hand, it's necessity. People don't have very many other options unless they have access to a lot of capital, or unless they have lots of great connections in the industry. What else are they really going to do? But on the other hand, from the other perspective, it's network marketing is getting so much more credible exposure. It's becoming so much more prevalent in the culture that people have no choice but to acknowledge it. All the media tactics of making fun of network marketing companies and people in network marketing are not working, because you have too many success stories. You have too many people who are becoming financially free and becoming multimillionaires from network marketing, that the mainstream culture can't deny it anymore. And it's actually becoming the prominent way of becoming financially successful in North America. One of the top 3 ways now, next to real estate and becoming superstar athlete or entertainer. And most people don't have the capital or the or at least the patience for the real estate and how long that takes to develop that kind of portfolio, or they just don't have the talent to be a superstar entertainer or actor. But they do have usually $25 to a couple $100, and they do have the ability to acquire knowledge, and that's all it is. It's knowledge and discipline. Knowledge and discipline over time will simply give you the result like a mathematical formula does. You plug in the right variables into the equation and you get an answer. And it's really now, are you able to implement and be patient? Because that's all it takes now. And ignorance is not an excuse because this stuff is readily available. I mean, you can go on the internet and Google this stuff and find free audios and free books that don't even cost any money to get all this knowledge. So it's not about money. That's one of people's biggest excuse. Although we try to solve it with a $25 entry, but people's excuse always is I don't have the time or I don't have the money to do this. Whereas first of all, we all have 24 hours in a day. So it's not that you don't have time; it's that you don't know how to manage your time. You don't know how to prioritize according to your own values. And that distinction, that awareness, again, comes from responsibility and saying and admitting that you screwed up in the past, or admitting that you haven't been very aligned with your own values. And people can't do that because they have too much ego. And that's why financial intelligence most of the time is about psychological management, is getting to what's blocking people's mentality to accept the information, because the information is not rocket science. In fact, again, the school education totally messes people up by trying to teach them things like calculus that they're never going to need, rather than teaching them something like compound interest. I mean, you don't need to know whether a bridge is going to fall down unless you want to become an engineer or a scientist. But most people, regardless of what job you have, you should know how to manage your credit card. And yet people don't want to take the effort to learn how to do that. It's fascinating.
So financial intelligence, so that's basically what you were just talking about, being responsible for your financial outcome, I guess. Is there anything else that's well, I guess there's probably a lot more included in that, the psychological aspect of that, but is there anything more you can add about that? If somebody wants to know, how do I acquire this intelligence, financial intelligence?
Well, I think it's you want to nourish. You want to become aware of what's holding you back, and so different things hold different people back, and so you just want to look at that and say, what's holding me back from getting this knowledge or taking action based on this knowledge, and authentically consider it, because we live in such a microwave society that some people only want to give themselves 10 seconds and say, I don't come up with an answer, I don't know what it is, as opposed to contemplating it for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And because sometimes this is what you find out through therapy and through psychology, the question you ask never gets answered directly. You have to ask a question 6 or 7 or 8 times before the mind stops its barriers from blocking the answer. And that's what's called getting in tune, getting into the zone. So you have to have the patience for that. Ask yourself those questions, and then the mind will come up with authentic answers. And when it comes up with those authentic answers, then you ask yourself, is that something that's really preventing me, or is that something I've allowed to prevent me? And usually your mind will say, no, it's not something that's preventing me, I've allowed that to prevent me. And then you can ask yourself, well, how can I get past that? What can I do so that won't prevent me? Who can I ask for help? Where can I find mentorship? And again, this goes back to why network marketing is so great, because if you get involved with a great company, they won't be out to get you to pay the money first. Their first thought is, how can I help you? How can I make a difference in your life? Because they know that at the end of the day, and most people who are successful in business understand this, is the relationship. If I help you and I nourish a relationship and I help you feel good and I help you become more successful, then you'll naturally want to do more business with me. When I make you like me and trust me, then you'll naturally direct referrals to me. And it's really that simple, and yet people don't do those simple things. They think it's some type of magic trick where you have to manipulate people through some type of a special script. But and this is what I really love in the learning here, because the learning goes far beyond financial awareness and financial intelligence. It goes into relationships. How do I have great relationships with people? How do I be with people where I feel good? How do I manage my own emotions? How do I nourish my health? And those types of things, when you understand wealth, are really true wealth, because you cannot have the financial compensation but have those other things and you'll be much more wealthy. And this is what Napoleon Hill taught, and this is what network marketing companies teach as well. And yet the mainstream media always will show the opposite. They always show mainstream media will show things like network marketing companies talking about, oh, look at this guy's mansion and look at his car. Yeah, they show that too, because some people in society are superficial. But that's just and they need that stimulus. a lot of depth to that, because that's not all that they're up to. They're up to, unlike, if you compare them to, so many other industries, they're also up to developing people spiritually. They're up to nourishing communities. They're up to charitable work. They're up to shifting the consciousness of the political structures and the corporate structures of multinationals. These are the things that they're up to. So to me, I find that to be much more noble and much more compassionate. But those things you're able to do once you have money, and that's what people don't understand. They've been tricked into thinking that the pursuit of money is evil, and that's what keeps them poor, and that's what keeps the elite rich. It's because they realize if we teach people that the pursuit of money is evil, then they'll all stay poor and we'll all stay rich. This is all psychological manipulation, and to get out of that is just a matter of conditioning. You put yourself into an environment in network marketing where they're constantly teaching you about the manipulation that's happening. They're showing you, look what's happening in advertising. Look at this. Look at the sports ad. Look at all these things. And when we show you what they're doing, all of a sudden you get out of that hypnotic state. You lose the trance. Anthony Robbins said that consciousness can sometimes be curative. Most of the time, the reason people don't break out of their habits is because they don't know it's a habit. They do it unconsciously. So just by being in a community of people who will commit to making you conscious of your habits, you will transform your way of being.
So this
I don't know if that answered your question, but anyway.
Well, it does, yeah. It's really a journey about yourself, isn't it? I mean, all the things you were talking about and this intelligence is different for each person. Whatever their holdback is, they'll have to come to grips with it and say, this is what's bothering me. Now I can go by that. And each one has their own. Would you say that?
Yeah, it's a personal journey. That's why they call it personal development.
Mm.
And again, it's fascinating because, again, and this is part of the microwave culture and the mainstream media, is they always pigeonhole it as a magic bullet. Oh, this thing, like The Secret, and that's how, and it's marketed that way. Oh, this thing is going to make you rich, it's going to make you happy, and you just press play and then it's all done. You just visualize for a couple of hours, as opposed to, no, that's called marketing, and that's a tease or the gate to get people in. This is what happens in all forms of marketing, and this is why The Secret was so successful, because they understood marketing, and that's how they got onto Larry King and Oprah. This is how the mainstream culture needs to be teased, because that's what they've been conditioned to advertising to think that's what they need, and that they can get it instantaneously. But if you really dive into the teachings of it, they talk about how you got to nurture those things, and that it takes time, and it takes introspection, and it takes examining your values and realigning your behaviors and then altering your habits. And that type of work, most people aren't willing to do. But the beauty is that when you put yourself into a network marketing environment, is you have a team of people who all encourage you to do that kind of work. They support you in that work. They acknowledge that kind of work. One of the biggest secrets to network marketing is acknowledgement. And Landmark Forum is another big personal development course that understands this. Most people, it's not the money that really motivates them, although, again, mainstream culture will make people think that. It's being acknowledged and being respected. And when you do things like, reward them, not just monetarily, but with authentic words, with praise, with stage recognition, with in public to your coworkers, that does more for them, because that's what we want as human beings, as spirits. We want to feel appreciated and respected and connected and feel like we make a difference, and then we add substance to society. And when we cultivate those things, we don't even need the money. It just becomes a byproduct, because ultimately what we're after is being in that atmosphere and space of camaraderie and beauty and peace and acceptance and love.
So, just changing gears now, and I've had, I've noticed there are certain things that they sell in multi-level marketing that you can't buy anywhere else, and I'm finding that's becoming a trend, and a lot of them are based on doing something on the internet or having it shipped. Would you say that's, I guess I could say it's a good thing that you have a lot more product and a lot more choice. And what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think network marketing started off as something small, but has grown into something so big that I think people don't understand how big it is. So what I mean by that is that any new company that's created today, in my opinion, I mean, I haven't researched the statistics, but I would say that if they're smart, they're considering it to be a network marketing company, because it's just an alternative model that's so much better than a typical corporation. It's rather than having a military structure where you're paying the executives to have laboratories and factories. What you're doing is you're paying social entrepreneurs through word of mouth to get exposure. And so rather than paying for mass media campaigns that use subliminal advertising of sex and violence, you have people actually be in relationships and talking to their friends. Now, that model is so good that every company is using it. And so when I say every company, I mean people don't realize that lots of what they would think are typical corporations actually use Amway and use network marketing companies for their distribution model. So companies like Sprint and AT&T, they'll use Amway, they'll use ACN for their distribution because they get better hold of customers that way. Customers are not loyal when they're being brainwashed or subliminal marketing, but they are loyal when their friend told them about a product or service. And so you have that happening so much that there's companies have arms that do network marketing, especially when you define it to affiliate marketing. I mean, look at Amazon.com. A lot of people make money promoting it through affiliate links, and people you can call that network marketing. All it is technology to track who referred you. That's what network marketing is, technology to track who referred you. So rather than paying an advertising executive, I'm paying the person who used word of mouth. I believe that over the next couple of years, there'll be more network marketing companies than not network marketing companies. Because, again, it's just a smarter business today. Today, it costs so much more money to run multinational television ads, and they're far less effective today. Even with all the sophisticated technology, people are becoming desensitized to that. And they're realizing, hey, I rather trust my friend than trust someone in a nice suit on a television screen.
Yeah, to second what you're saying, I'm noticing this. Well, number one, in the job market, everybody says by referral, and the first thing they say is to network to find a job. And then if they want to get a professional, like a lawyer, an accountant, a dentist, they always ask their friend, do you have a lawyer, an accountant, or a dentist? And business people do that to get vendors or suppliers, and so this has actually been around for quite a while, but it's becoming the way to do things in all aspects.
And it started off by being the way to do things. I mean, if you look at, society is all cyclical. If you look at culture and how it started, well, we started off by bartering, by exchanging what our talents were with our neighbors and our friends in our community. So my sister would give cooking lessons to our neighbor's family, and they would give, they do some entertainment or make some arts and crafts for someone else down the street. This is called being human and loving each other and being in community where you leverage off each other's skills and services and knowledge and talents. Now, we moved away from that with the Industrial Revolution to say, hey, rather than talking to your friends, let's pretend everyone's a robot, and let's look at these screens and let these screens tell us what we should be buying and what we should be consuming. And those screens have been so powerful that people have been indoctrinated to think it's bad to talk to my friend. It's bad that my friend's making $2 from me because he recommended something. I mean, that's moronic. I mean, people are upset because my friend made $2. I mean, they should be pleased and they should wish my friend made $20. But,
Yeah.
I'm very opinionated about this stuff sometimes. I guess I've been in the industry for so long. It's, and that's a challenge. You got to learn to be compassionate to where people are. And, it's an art,
Yeah, it sure is. We're going to take a break now for a few minutes, and we will return with Danish Ahmed. We'll continue the conversation.
Man crawls into a box while the movie star strikes a pose. but we're all caught somewhere in between, trying to survive the Hollywood dream. And the LA traffic is lonely, and the hills are going up in flames. And I wanna drive through the fire to a place where they know my name. I've got the whole world around me, but my only companion is talk radio. I've got my whole life in front of me, and I'm heading down the wrong road. I've got the whole world around me, but my only companion is talk radio. And one by one, these white lines divide us into a parallel loneliness. Miss the rain and I long for a familiar face. Miss feeling like I have a chance. I miss romance. And the city of angels is burning, and there's magic in the air. And the heart of the city is pounding, but there's no love and no one who cares. I've got the whole world around me, but my only companion is talk radio. I've got my whole life in front of me, and I'm heading down the wrong road. I've got the whole world around me, but my only companion is talk radio. And one by one, these white lines divide us. Only companion is talk radio. I've got my whole life in front of me, and I'm heading down the wrong road. I've got my whole world around me, but my only companion is talk radio. And one by one, these white lines divide us into a parallel loneliness. A homeless man crawls into a box while the movie star strikes a pose. And we're all caught somewhere in between, trying to survive the Hollywood dream.
And we're back on the Cube Talk Show with Danish Ahmed, and we're talking about multi-level marketing. And we went through a lot of general ideas about why you would do it and what the benefits are. I want to ask you now, Danish, can you describe some specific companies you've encountered or dealt with and how they work? So I guess if somebody is going to join a marketing company, what sort of structures can they expect to find?
Right. So, like I said, the network marketing industry is so big that it's kind of hard to talk about all the different kinds of companies at once, because you can split them up into different categories. The way certain compensation plans work are very different than other companies. It's like talking about corporations. It's like asking, let's talk about how the corporate structure works. Well, the corporate structure works differently for Microsoft than it works for Nike, than it works, for AT&T. Because they're all just kind of using a model, and then they're putting their own culture into it, they're putting their own intelligence into it, they're putting their own expertise into it to make it very unique and marketable to people. So let me give a couple of examples. There's old school companies like Amway and who've been around for a long time, and who might even disagree with some of the the methodologies of some of the new innovative companies. I'm a techie, and I think if done right, technology is wonderful. And this aversion to use technology to promote network marketing, I don't think is right. So I like companies that leverage technology. Although and I have to say it's important to be with a company that does live events. You don't just want to do everything on the net. Although it's great if you could do most of it on the net, but you want to meet with real people. That's what creates relationships. It's very difficult to create a relationship just over the internet. Now, having said that, I like companies that are not into health products, because to me, I'm not a health professional and I don't want to learn a lot about health. And I don't want a company that I need to take a lot of inventory, because that creates more risk. I like companies that are service oriented, because then I just have to sign people up once, and then I don't have to convince them to order the next month, because they're part of a service that reoccurs every month. And that's why I like that free thing. The entry point, and this is really important, and this is, I think, one of the new models of being effective, is we're not trying to sell people. We're not trying to get people into something. What we're really doing, just like every authentic, true entrepreneur should try to do, is to add value, to give people value, sometimes tremendous value for free. Because we know when we do that, people are going to like us. We're going to put out good karma, and it's going to be win-win. So with that free thing, all I do is encourage people to go to my website, which is ordinarywords.com. And when they go to ordinarywords.com, it'll say, hey, get 5 freebies a week. No strings, no obligation. You put your name, you put your email, and every week you'll get an email with 5 freebies you can consume. And they're honest, legitimate, wholesome freebies, not marketing scams, not something where you need to put your credit card, not some sort of trick where you have to buy 36 to get one free. None of that. All just really good free stuff. Now, some of it you probably won't be able to use because won't be in it. Like, there might be free diapers. Like, I don't have a baby. Well, fine, don't get the diapers. But over time, you'll see stuff that you could probably use. And there's some good, cool stuff like Dairy Queen ice cream. I'm sure lots of people like Dairy Queen ice cream, or Starbucks coffee, or stuff, or admission to the Toronto Zoo. There's great stuff that we're all probably spending money on, and why not save money if we can, just by being part of the system. And that's really how you work it. You meet people, you befriend them, and you share with them in an organic way an opportunity for them to get stuff for free. Now, some of them, after 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, will say, you know what, these 5 freebies a week, they're really cool. And it says here that I can have access to a web portal with thousands of freebies. Wow! I mean, if these 5 are good, imagine what the other 995 are like, if not more. So, but in order to get access to this portal, I need to upgrade to the membership, the full membership. And the full membership, as I alluded to before, costs $25 to start, and then $9.95 a month thereafter. So it's very, very inexpensive. Anyone can afford that. And the best part is, they give a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you pay the $25 and then you get access to this web portal with thousands of freebies, and you look at some of the freebies and you even consume some of them, you might even go get dinner somewhere and go get clothing for free, and then at the end of the month you're like, you know what, I didn't like these free pants I got, and I didn't like that free meal I got. I don't think it's worth the $25. Well, we'll give you $25 back, because we're not a scam. We're not into ripping people off. We're not even into people not feeling that they didn't get value. We only want people who feel that there's tremendous value here, because there is for most people. Maybe not for everybody, but for a lot of people there's tremendous value. And what happens is, because it's a network marketing model, that $25, that $9.95 a month actually gets split up into a whole bunch of different people, like it does in network marketing, who were part of the team that helped acquire that customer. So in every network marketing company, that equation and how that's figured out is different. So I won't go into the details. All I can say is that free thing is the best I've ever seen, because there's no requirements for recruiting, and you overflow. So if you have a big leader like me on top, I will put people underneath you, and then therefore you can make money. Not a lot of money. It's just really to tease you and to show you that this thing works. To show you that by having faith in an organization, by getting stuff for free, and by being lucky enough to be with someone who is a big promoter and is out there making it happen, you will get people placed in your organization, and you'll be teased with $1 or $2 or $5 a month. And the beauty is when you get up to $7 or $8 or $9 a month, then you're going to say, well, why would I ever quit? I'm making more money than I'm spending, which is just the idea. And plus, I'm getting all these freebies. Why don't I go out and share with people how they can get these freebies? And when you become a person who takes the effort to share with people, all of a sudden, based on the compensation plan, you get rewarded much more, because now it's not about teasing you with a little bit of money. Now it's about rewarding you for putting in the effort to go out and share this with other people and help them become leaders. And when you do that, the income becomes unlimited, because there's no limit to how much money you can make. And that's why network marketing is so good, and that's why that free thing is so good, because for the first time in history, someone could get involved for $25 in a business and become a multimillionaire. Now, what's fascinating is that has come down over the years. I mean, if you look at, I don't know the exact numbers, but 50 years ago, before the Industrial Revolution, in order to create a company and become wealthy, you probably needed $1 million, $2 million of capital to start, and that went down. Maybe 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, you needed 100,000. I remember when I started producing my book, A Dictionary of Distinctions, I needed about $5,000 to start that company. And although it wasn't a heck of a lot of money, I was comparing it to the past, 10 or 20 years ago, where I would need to get a traditional publisher and probably spend like $100,000, $200,000 to produce a book. And back then it was $5,000. Today, you can do print on demand and you basically get a book done for a couple $100. But my point is, today is the opportunity to create wealth from nothing. You don't need a lot of money to start, and that free thing is a great example of all you need is $25, and put in some effort for 30 days, and you'll be rewarded. It's a phenomenal system. They even have, their vision is to not only just have this portal of thousands of freebies, but then to have that available on your iPhone or Android app, so that as you're walking down the street, it'll just notify you and say, hey, you can get a free coffee right over there, or hey, you can get a free haircut over there. And this would have the cool factor. Like, imagine walking into a store and saying, hey, I came here for my free coffee, and they said, sure, where is it? Show your iPad. And you show your iPad, and they just scan it with a little scanner, and they say, sure, here's your coffee. And then everybody else in the coffee shop, some people will turn around and say, well, how did you get your free coffee? And you say, well, all I did was use this iPhone app that you can get for free. It's called That Free Thing. You want to go to it? I'll show you. It's my website. And that's your business growing virally, naturally, organically on its own. It's not you being a salesman. It's really you just going out there and consuming free stuff. The way we share with people on how to promote this is to consume free stuff. Go on the portal, find out the free stuff that you like. Again, some of it you won't. It won't be relevant to you. But there'll be something that is. I mean, for example, one of the things I got this week was a ticket to the Apple show worth $50. I got it free through that free thing. People are getting like LensCrafter glasses worth a couple $100, and that pays for your entire membership. So get that free stuff, and then share with people, either on Facebook, put pictures up of your free stuff, or make a video of your free stuff and tell people how you got free stuff. Tell them how they can get their own free stuff, and out of doing that, we can create wealth for everybody.
Sounds good. You mentioned the Love movie. That's something you've done in the past, right?
Yeah, I created a movie called The Love Movie, which in 3 minutes it answers the question, what is love? And people can watch that at www.thelovemovie.com, thelovemovie.com. And I wanted to create it because I wanted to share with the world this understanding of transformation and consciousness and making a difference. And also realizing that it needed to be done in a pop culture that didn't have a big attention span and that needed a little bit of a candy tease. And that's what the Love Movie is. It's hey, I'm going to answer the question in 3 minutes. What is love? Isn't that cool? And people get excited about that, and people share that, and people have been sharing it so much around the world that it's been seen by 2 million people so far. And I think it's coming into a culture where people are able to create things like that and globally distribute things like that for free, that allows all of us to really now become artisans and become entrepreneurs of our own passions and our own abilities, rather than being the slaves of somebody else's.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. It's the creativity that will drive everything, and not all the limitations of how much money do you currently have, how much capital you have, what
Yeah.
skills do you have, working for somebody, whatever. This
Yeah.
allows you to create unlimited at any time you like.
And then when
pretty
it
much.
worked in the movie paradigm online, I thought to myself, now let's take this live. Let's do the same thing to what I thought was old school personal development industry, which is lecture format. Let me talk for 4 hours. Let me have a polished speech. And, I mean, it worked. I'm not making it bad or poo-pooing it, because it was great for its time. But I think today we're in a new era where people don't want the polished speech. They don't want to be in an institutional environment. They want someone who's real, who's authentic, who's playful, who knows how to have a good time. And that's why I started creating events that were about transformation, but also had a party atmosphere. They had a DJ. We were drinking. We were dancing. We're having a good time, because people, again, want to do business with people they like and they trust and they want to have fun with. And so then I went back to, rather than trying to promote a network marketing company through a sales presentation where people you get people to a meeting and you force them to understand all these numbers, which they're never going to understand anyways, in the form of an hour, I said, forget that. Let's have a party. Because to me, all I want to do is show people that we're real, that these freebies are real, that they can get these freebies. In fact, the model for our party is where everybody gets something for free. So people come to our party, they get something for free, they dance, they drink, they eat, they have a good time, they meet the community, they feel our realness and our authenticity, and maybe for some of them that's it. And again, that's cool. It's not being attached to anything. That's what I really love about our community. If all the people want to do is come and have a good time, and they don't want to have anything else to do with that free thing, we think we've done a great service, and we're very happy about that. And we think, just statistically, that some of them will say, hey, what's that free thing all about? And we'll say, well, check out our website. Go to ordinarywords.com, put in your name and your email. You'll get 5 freebies a week, and you'll get to understand what that free thing is all about. And if you want to be a real social entrepreneur, and you actually want to make money from promoting this free party, then hey, upgrade to pay your $25, and what you'll have access to is a portal of thousands of freebies. But more importantly, we'll give you a special link. So rather than just sending out a link to www.thatfreeparty.com, now you can send out a link to www.thatfreeparty.com/ whatever your free thing username is. And that way, as you're promoting the party, people will be exposed to that free thing. And whether they go to the party or not, if they become a freeloader, they become your freeloader. So you're growing your network marketing business by growing the party, by inviting people to the party. But more importantly, and more phenomenally and more financially, if some of those people decide, hey, this is a cool party, let me go promote it. Well, now you're not just helping spread the word of the party, you're making money from the party, you're making money from that free thing, and you're growing an organization that's sharing with people how to get more free stuff. And I think that's just win-win-win for everybody. I think it's a paradigm that network marketing companies always wanted, because some of them actually called their sales presentation parties. They go, oh yeah, come to our party. And I'm like, that's like Orwellian speak. I mean, you're tricking people that something is going to be, and maybe it is a little bit of fun. I mean, I'm not, I'm going to the extreme to make my point, because some of them are kind of fun, but they're not a party. They're at best a conversation to share with you why you need to or you want to pursue this business or consume these products. Whereas with us, we're not into conversation. We're not into enrollment. We're into giving you freebies. And if you want, if you want to ask us questions while we're socializing, sure, we'll answer your questions. But there's no sales presentation. We're about partying. We're about dancing. We're about socializing. We're about getting our groove on. We're about being with each other. And we think the bigger we can make our community of cool people who are conscious, who want to have a good time, who are entrepreneurial, the more we can create this collective, co-creative environment of people who can create an infrastructure to create any type of society, especially if we look at things that are going to happen that are coming, like the collapse, what happens when there's an economic collapse? What happens when there's food shortages? What happens when power outages happen? I mean, these things are all predicted by lots of economists, by lots of people who understand the plan of the elite. So when you have things like community, when you have things like a network marketing organization for infrastructure, for your alternative compensation, financial compensation, or either just a system of bartering with people, or as a way of communicating with people, so you're not relying on your old structures that are going to become obsolete. Now you're really living into a future that's going to work. And living into a future that's not going to work, going to work well. People are going to come to you for your knowledge. People are going to come to you for your resources. People are going to come to you for your wealth because you understand how to capture it, you understand how to maintain it, and you understand how to expand it. Those are the things you get taught in personal development and network marketing.
Yeah, I was just going to ask the question, but I think you've answered it. Is this the way everything's going to be done in the future? It sounds like it is. This will become the way to do business, to make things, whatever the things are. Is that something you're seeing, that this will become the way to do it?
Yeah, I think this will be the norm now, and I'm also open to another paradigm being created that may overshadow this as being the norm. But I mean, for sure, it won't be the corporate structure. It won't be being an employee. I mean, we know that for sure. And so this might just be a transitory vehicle. It may be the transition to a new model that we're not conscious of yet, because it's not perfect. I mean, there's MLM companies that can get corrupt just like a normal corporation can get corrupt. So it's as people having this black and white mentality in order to make other things wrong and to justify their own reality, they'll find an exception to the rule, and they'll say, oh, look at that MLM company, look, they did this thing bad and that thing bad, and therefore all MLMs are bad. It doesn't make any sense. It's not saying this is all perfect. What it's saying is this model is so much better than the previous model, and let us keep making it better. Let us keep refining it. And some of the ways of refining it, like I said, we've gone from people needing $500 to $1,000 to get in to needing $25 to get in. So that's a refinement on the model. We've gone from inventory-based network marketing companies to service-based network marketing companies. That's a refinement on the model. What I did with Hub, with Humanity Unites Brilliance, was a way to really raise money for charity. I mean, and that structure still lives on. So that was a refinement on the model. And I think there will be a lot of refinements over the next couple of years that will be so foundational and profound that they'll make it look like a different model. But it won't really be. To me, the core of this philosophy is to cause commerce through relationship, personal relationships, as opposed to causing commerce through indoctrination, propaganda, and manipulation. Really, that's the difference that I'm talking about. Is let's move into relationship marketing and move away from subliminal advertising.
We have about 5 minutes left. You've said the last little while about your website and contact. If you'd like to give out a email, phone number, a way of contacting you for more information.
Absolutely. My email is hub@ordinarywords.com. That's HUB, hub, at ordinarywords, ORDINARYWORDS.com, ordinarywords.com. And the websites, again, if you want to become a free member of that free thing, go to ordinarywords.com and just put your name and your email there. If you want to come to the party, our free party, go to www.thatfreeparty.com, thatfreeparty.com, and check it out. It's going to be totally awesome. And if you're interested in the Love Movie is www.thelovemovie.com. My number, you can contact me anytime. I can never go to sleep, so you'll be doing me a favor by calling me at 4 o'clock in the morning. 647-439-5011. 647-439-5011. That's an interesting distinction. What I love about this community is you'll find people like me who are so passionate that this is what we do. I mean, some can say that we don't do this at all because we're retired. We have enough money coming in that we don't need to do it. Yet the irony is we love it so much that usually it's on our consciousness, and we're sharing it with everybody. But it's so cool to be around people like that because we're driven, we have a vision, we're up to stuff, and so much so that our definition of retired is not doing nothing. Our definition of retired is doing what you love all the time, and that's what I do. I do what I love all the time, and what I want to show people is how to do what they love all the time, and that might not be network marketing, but network marketing may be the vehicle to get you to do what you love all the time. What people don't understand is there's a lot of people in network marketing who become so successful that they have the option of never doing network marketing again, so they never do. And so they become writers. They travel the world. They never share the idea with anyone because they don't care. They weren't doing it for that reason. They were doing it so they can live their dreams, and now they are living their dreams. So it's fascinating because when you'll come to a room. And I had this problem too, because it's naivety. When you don't know, you don't know. So you go to a room, and you say there's 100 people here, and you have 3 people at the front who are all the leaders. They're making all the money, and everybody else in the room is not making any money. Isn't that a bad system? And once you realize, well, the people who are at the front are making all the money because those are the people who are making all the money, and they love doing what they do, so they're there all the time because they love doing what they're doing. All the people who don't love doing what they're doing, they're making a ton of money, but they're not in the room. They're on vacation. They're doing their own thing because that's why they became successful, was so they can do their own thing. So then you have left the people in the room that are left are people who want to be the superstars, so they're there to learn, and then only the people who are left are the people who are the superstars who love doing it, which is a very small percentage, because most of the people who do it to become superstars don't continue doing it because they retire in other industries, or they retire in other businesses, or they end up just spending their time with their family their whole life. I'm one of the weird people in the sense because I love doing it, and to me there's nothing wrong with that. I want people to continue doing what they love doing. For me, this is what I love doing, so this is what I continue to do.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people will be doing. Thanks for coming, and thanks for coming, and we'll be in touch. And,
awesome. It was a pleasure.
So that's our show for today. Thanks for tuning in. You can watch this show on thatchannel.com and the podcast archives under the banner The Cube Talk Show, and also on my website www.joetheinvestor.ca. And if you want to contact me, my email is joetheinvestor.today@gmail.com. And that's all for today. Have a good evening.
Why is vanity so damn sexy? I love the way you make me feel. I come alive in the reflection of you. And I would risk everything and throw my life away. Oh, but there's still no telling what you would do. What happens when we get older? You're not the hero you used to be. And what happens when the curtain falls down and you see my naked body? I like thinking you're the one for me, but I'm wiser than I used to be. Wiser than I used to be. What happens when we get older? You're not the hero you used to be. And what happens when the curtain falls down and you see my apart and you're not so sure if you love me. Like thinking you're the one for me. But I'm wiser than I used to be.